So record, and now it's on. Sabine Vermeire. I'm not sure if this is the right way. Romanians would say Sabine Vermeire, but how do you spell your name? How do you pronounce your name?
It's Sabine Vermeire, but that's a bit difficult in Dutch. Only if you speak Dutch. But this morning already, I did some Google translation, and I found Bună dimineața.
Bună dimineața.
No, so the pronunciation isn't right.
Right, but very close.
Very close. Thank you. Sure. I would say good morning to everybody at the conference, and I wish you a wonderful time today. And I just wanted to tell a few things about the map that I developed together with some colleagues, friends, because in this COVID-19 times, those Corona times, we saw that many carriers got very exhausted, and that they lost the connection also with people that they love, that they cherish in their heart. And what we also noticed was that they no longer saw that they did valuable work, that it made any difference, or that it even made sense. So they were really losing a sense of personal agency. Yeah. And they no longer saw the actions that they were doing. And at the same time, we also saw that they were no longer noticing one another, what they meant for each other. And that what they were doing also made a difference to one another. So they were getting very alienated. I don't know how it is in Romania, but over here, a lot of people had to work online. So all the small chats or the small talks in the corridors disappeared. We became just faces in the screen. So it became also very clean conversations and static meetings where a lot of stories no longer were shared.
Right.
And we were no longer sharing stories, both sides. And something else that we also noticed was by our government, but also between people, we saw that this COVID-19 times were inviting us very hard to binary thinking, in the sense of, oh, that are the still hardworking people, and that are the people who are privileged. These are the scary ones, and that are the non-scary ones. These are the flexible ones. And that caused a lot of division, separation in teams.
And polarization,
for sure. So people were no longer allies towards each other, but became standing towards each other. So that made us really thinking, how can we organize some ways that stories get shared again, but at the same time, that while sharing those stories, that a sense of personal and relational agency gets enhanced in a certain way. That was for us very important. So could we organize ways of sharing stories, talking about stories? And that was the history of the map.
The context.
That was really the context and our hopes for reconnection, for enriching stories between each other. And we started to ask questions like, oh, what kind of object did you start to use much more these last months? Or in a different way? Or what kind of object got different meaning? And some people in supervision or in teams started to tell that they rebuilt the bedroom at home, and that it became half an office. But that the colleagues didn't know that another colleague had done so much efforts to reorganize his life, her life, in a way that they could keep going on and keep connection with clients. So we started to search for all those small actions, the really little small actions that people did.
Right.
And I have a lovely story, if I can tell it, Ovidio.
Yes, yes, please.
A lovely story of a client of mine, a little girl who was permitted by juvenile court to live with her mom during COVID-19 times. Normally, she lived in a children's home. And I asked her, oh, is there an object that you started to use in a different way? And she ran away. I lost her in the screen. She was gone because it was online. And I heard a lot of noise. And she was in the kitchen and she came back with a pizza cutter. And she said, oh, each Friday now I'm making pizza with my mom. And we have lovely conversations. So that became a stepping stone. That small action became a stepping stone to make visible, oh, what is valuable in your relation with your mom, what is valuable for you, what is important, or what makes a difference, and what would your mom appreciate in this. So that we got much more enhanced that relational and personal agency, but at the same time, that each one could become, again, what Vicky Reynolds called imperfect solidarity.
Right.
So I don't know if it makes sense and if it's helpful what I'm telling.
Yes, thank you. I was browsing around the news in our narrative community websites, and I've been looking on your website that you are putting up since, I think, the conference and before the conference you organized in the lowland countries in Antwerp. And I have been privileged to be there and celebrate narrative therapy and community work. Now, I was reading the different posts, and I read your map, the scaffolding of these questions, the caring for carers, something attracting my attention because I am also sensitized by the scarcity of our relationships because of the screen, the 2D communication, the lack of contact, the lack of touch, and so on. So it really attracted my attention. And then I invited my students to have conversations in seminaries guided by this scaffold, this map, and they were very interesting and moving. And we put out a lot of these small steps that we make, which are actually related to stronger values that are asking to be kept and preserved and put in circulation. So I really enjoyed this effervescence, this innovation that you thought in terms of how we can create context for conversation, enriching conversations in these times. We need to realize we live in these times, so that we need to keep that in our minds and in what we do and how we do, and care for the relationships with all we have, all ideas that we have to maintain what is what we would call humane or humanizing ways, keeping the values alive, because this is how our lives are organized and enlightened.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. I thought this is a fantastic way of spreading the news from westbound Europe to eastern part of Europe.
Very well. I'm very glad, because I think there are a few hospitals already in London, for instance, that are also using the map to stay connected. And they even started from that map using a WhatsApp group where they send pictures of daily actions that they do to keep the connection alive between each other and share stories with each other.
So the little steps, the little objects, these little actions are recreating the little moments of informality that we have lost in a way. It's contributing and giving back the possibilities to share and create this richer expression of our lives.
Yeah, very sure, very sure. Yeah.
Well, it is a privilege to have you ad hoc, because we just went into contact, I think, yesterday, 2 days before the conference. I just salute you, and I told you about the conference and the fact that we are using the map. We are enjoying the map that you provided and you invented. And then you really immediately, you just said, you clicked and said, we can have a small chat, and here we are.
I think it are really bizarre times and very strange times, times of uncertainty.
Sure.
And I think that each invitation that comes our direction is important that we pick them up and that we stay connected in all kinds of ways. In these
And this
times.
will be your message for the conference.
This would be obviously my message. Please keep on sharing small actions that keeps the connection alive, that keeps us connected with what we cherish in our hearts.
Thank you very much.
I wish you all a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, and send our love to all your colleagues and friends, and a big and warm salute from Iași, Romania.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.